This has been a difficult issue for the community. There's been a lot of divide. It's hard to balance between where to spend your limited resources. Ultimately, the board made a decision and the community rallied together and came up with another option. As to who has, legally, there's a lot of questions, a lot of discussions we can have about what are the legal ramifications for the current design of the agreement. And I'm willing to consider whatever it is that the community ultimately decides is the best interests. We're still dealing with an aging pool, and while I certainly was not in support of closing the pool, I do appreciate the concerns of the people that are paying for the pool and using the pool. It's a valuable classroom for all of our kids. And so I think it has to be a community decision of where we're going to go with this. Or as the new board members come on, we can look again at where it fits in our school curricula and policy and our budget.
So nobody wants to close the pool. Nobody wants to take a community asset away from the community. But here's the deal, you guys. It was a community asset, and the school district was paying for it. And it wasn't just like this problem cropped up 2 years ago. It is an ongoing. In fact, Carrie Davidson's father was on the board, and he was dealing with it as well. So it's been an ongoing problem. So we finally had to say, enough is enough. We cannot afford any of these major repairs that the pool needs. Did you know that it's not even handicap accessible? So we've got a lot of issues around the pool, and I think that one of the things that we can do is to take a step back and look at it instead of saying, people coming to the board meeting and throwing things at us and yelling and screaming. Let's sit down and look at the issue and come up with a solution county-wide or community-wide.
I was on swim team when I was in high school. I really enjoyed it. My granddaughter Willow was on the swim team here at Shelton. And it's a really nice to have that kind of an asset. I noticed too, I came from Spokane when I was in high school, which was more than a couple of years ago. And one of the pools there was owned by the school, certainly, but it was also managed by Parks and Recreation. So my personal view on it is the citizens of this community own that school, they own that pool, and together I think that there's a definite need for a pool for both the school, the students, and for the community on whole. So best solution in my view is that the community owns the pool. Parks and Recreation, Mason County, the hospital, the school, we all need access to that swimming pool. And I think the only way that we're going to maintain a pool over the long term, and of course replace it, is to come together and do it all together. Thank you.
I agree with a lot of what's being said, and I was very impressed when the hospital did step up and partner with the community and with the school board to come up with a solution. The whole pool issue was something that struck a chord with just about everybody in the community, especially people that are my age with children in school. And they were very passionate about it, and I was, again, very impressed with our whole community for coming together and getting the assets together and having the hospital come in and partner. And I think that those community partnerships are something that's very important going forward. The hard part that I had with the pool issue was how it was dealt with. And I think that communication is very important. And I think that from what I understood, they even had a pool committee, but then that was dismissed. And yes, my dad was on the school board for 12 years, dealt with a lot of different issues. I spoke to my dad about the pool a million times. That was something that they had considered, but again, they didn't close it. And our school board did close the pool, and they did it with a number of swim team members at the meeting. who were pleading for them to keep it open, who had their state swim meet coming up. I thought that the timing of all of it was just really difficult on the morale of the students, and that was difficult for me to watch. That's one of the main reasons why I started getting involved. It's not the only reason why I stayed involved and continued to go to the school board meetings long after the pool situation seemed to die down. I love that there's a community effort to have possibly an aquatic center come in, and that the pool situation right now may be bridging a gap for that. I think anything that keeps our kids engaged and involved in school is very, very important.
My cousin's son was on that swim team, so I've heard a lot about it firsthand. I do have a lot of history in this community, and I remember as a child, every year we went to that Kiwanis breakfast at Neyland Park. And one of the major things when I was a kid is that they're going to earn enough money so we would have a swimming pool in this community. It never happened until we built that school. And it was the voters that voted to pay for, and the voters that bought that school a swimming pool. We have maintenance levies and things to take care of our schools. I'm very concerned about the management of the money. And I'm very concerned that only one, the pool, I know they're costly to keep up, it's fallen into disrepair. I am concerned that only the swimming pool is chosen to, well, let's cut that out because it costs a lot. How much does it cost to maintain that football field? It is kept up pretty nice. The bleachers and everything else. I think we need to communicate. We need to listen to all of the people in the community. Maybe it's time to change, to look at things. The school is not an island, it's part of a whole community. And we need to be a whole community in looking at what's needed in the community, what's needed in the school, and work together in finding positive solutions for everyone.
I supported the keeping the pool open quite a bit. I didn't actually go to any meetings, but
This one, yeah, yes it is.
but yeah, I think it is going to take a community effort to keep it. It's too much of a valuable asset to shut down. We need to have a swimming pool in Shelton, in this area. I mean, where else are our kids going to learn how to swim, for instance, you know? Puget Sound? I don't think so. So yeah, maybe the school district could eventually work something with the Shelton Parks and Rec and get that cooperation going. I don't know what the details are that were worked out with the hospital, but thank God and thank the community for coming together for keeping the pool open. So I would do everything I can to keep that asset as part of our community.